in Sydney, the Wine O'Clock show plays and stays at the Adge Hotel. Dare to be different at the Adge Hotel. The ThinkerGirls, welcome to the Wine O'Clock show.
This is exciting.
I know, we get to drink alcohol on TV. It's a bit fun. And we're drinking the LVP Sangria today, which is all the way from America. Lisa Vanderpump, thanks.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cold.
It is. Cheers. Happy Friday.
Cheers.
It is 6 o'clock and it is time to wind down and have a chat about the week that was.
Wind down, I see what you did there.
So ladies, it's been a big week.
Yeah. A big, full-on, scary week.
Wednesday
That's
was just
real.
Yes, Wednesday. I
It's
think
a bit like pinch yourself.
Well, I'm
It's
tired.
here.
I feel a little bit tired. As a woman, I feel exhausted.
Do you?
Yeah.
Before we get into the big Trump debate, tell me a little about the ThinkerGirls and what you do on air every night, because it's fabulous.
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
We love what we do. It's just talking thoughts you're thinking but not saying. So all of the conversations that everybody is having, whether it's with their girlfriends or their boyfriends or their partners or their mates, we're just having on the radio, just completely unedited and just real and raw and I don't know, just kind of
Real conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds a little bit cliche because I think everybody walks around going, well, that's an easy feat to do. But commercial radio doesn't always offer it in the way that we're presenting it, I suppose. So that's been a bit of a hurdle and such a great supporter in KISS. But also, like yourself, we started as an online platform. So it was a podcast first and really built it because we thought those barriers would be there, I guess, not allowing us to have those conversations.
Yep.
And then, you know, you dream big, you have a vision board, you work hard, and you have a national night show. So,
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. Yes. Well done, Ace. Speaking about not everyone's cup of tea, this week was the big Trump-Hillary showdown, and I don't know, for me, it was unfortunately Trump got through. I'd love to know, I know you've got a big opinion on this one. So shoot, Stace.
It was full on, wasn't it? And I know you've got your big opinion, Soz,
Yeah.
but
it's just an opinion.
It was full on being there watching it happen live because we were doing the show literally as the decision had just been made and as he had just been announced as the 45th President of the United States. And I feel like there were so many people at work and around the office that were kind of like doing their jobs and they were like on their laptops, but they were like also glued to the
bit
telly.
like 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, when you know where you were. I suppose I had been in a little bit of a la-di-da land up until about, 2 hours before it made, because there was everybody, you know how everybody thinks they're all of a sudden the political expert on days like this and everyone's
it drives me
speculating and I was kind of like, oh yeah.
But taking the piss too, everyone was like, oh, Trump looks like he's going to get up, and we were like, oh my, shut up.
And I was living in my optimistic world, which is the land of Stacey, which sits in this kind of Nina Proudman Offspring-esque, where she kind of walks around like this. And then I actually came to reality when I said, when I thought we're going to have to actually deliver some news on our show, on our little show. People are going to want to know what we think and people are going to know what's going on. So I had to bring myself to reality. And when I thought about it, the reality was that if people are denying that this isn't a war on gender, they're actually absolutely kidding themselves. Because if we've chosen a person like Trump with absolutely no experience and the kinds of things that we've seen him provide us, the kinds of racism, the kinds of misogyny that we've seen him deliver, if the other alternative is still scary for us, i.e. a woman, then we've got some serious questions to ask ourselves. And also the denial about that is something that I take issue with as well, because a lot of people, you know, have said on our socials after I said this kind of view that it's crazy and you make everything about gender, and I'm saying, well, because it is about gender, and just because you are sick of hearing about it doesn't mean I'll stop bloody talking about it. You know, she was a woman that had the backs, she had the skill set. just like I'm sure a lot of women do when they go for board of directors roles or management roles, and in the end, maybe there's more dudes there that know the guy or know the guy's dads, or I don't know what the scenario is, but it comes down to that idea that that people take issue or were less confident with a woman than they were with Donald Trump.
But surely, like, because with what we watched, obviously the Donald Trump show over the last 18 months of campaigning, and the stuff that he came out with, surely, you're looking at two people, and surely just because no one likes Donald Trump, because there was this discussion on air going, well, they didn't like Donald Trump, but what was the alternative? Well, anything's got to be better than Donald Trump.
That's right, and I challenge anyone to think that this is an agenda thing, because if it was a white male Democrat of any kind of expertise that went against Trump, I guarantee he would have won. I guarantee someone else in Hillary's position that had a penis would have won that role.
I feel like what Donald Trump has done, though, is that it's played into a place where people are fearful and they're angry, where white middle America is mad, and they're the people that went out in droves and lined up for 4 to 5 hours to vote. And that's not...
And they're more passionate.
Yeah, and that's...
they had a vendetta. And that's something, though. It is something to listen to. I do think that you don't get to pick and choose which opinions you want. Like, I've got mine, but I think that has spoken absolute levels. And it's a question for the country to think about, all right, well, what are they so angry about, and what do we need to address? Because if they've chosen that over that, then we've got a real problem, because not everybody's dummies and bigots.
A bit of controversy this week too, with a mother sending out champagne breakfast invitations to 13-year-olds. I think anything that needs a permission slip from a 13-year-old, screams danger or fraught danger. Is this acceptable? Should we be allowing our 13-year-old girls to host champagne breakfast parties?
I think this is full on, because I was thinking about this, and initially I was not outraged, but I'm like, come on, they're 13 years old. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought about my own life, and when I was, started drinking at about 15, there's this real fine line that I suppose I trod kind of with my parents, and I think their approach to drinking and alcohol and partying and drugs and sex was that, there was this real funny fine line where it was like, where does it go from being open and honest with my kid versus encouraging?
Yes.
And I think my dad in particular was pretty good with that kind of stuff, where I could be honest with him to a certain point, where I could be like, I'm going to a party and I'll only have 3 of these UDLs. But really, in fact, I had been chugging passion pop out, straight from the bottle with my mate, or, lying about certain elements whereby it was like, oh, I'm just tired, I'm not hungover from my friend's 16th birthday party.
I disagree. I'm on the other side. I think that if we had a liberal, responsible society with alcohol, that maybe we were able to bend the rules and have a better communication, but we don't. We have an epidemic of alcoholism in this country. So I think actually that the legal age should be moved to 21.
Absolutely.
I think that it's completely batshit crazy to think that I guess I understand that point, and the Europeans have it right, like a small glass of red wine from a very young age. But at the same time, I don't know if when I'm going to my friends' family dues that do that are also pissed like my family dues can be, at 3 a.m. on the dance floor. That's a very different life. So I don't know if you can merge the two if the lifestyle doesn't back up that liberal kind of open conversation. So I think as an overall blanket, it's crazy in this country, and I think, no, if I had children, there's not a chance.
Yeah. So going from 13-year-old alcoholics to weddings that are now, the bride has decided she's not going to have any alcohol at her wedding because her in-laws drink too much.
You've picked a lot of interesting topics.
I know.
Yeah, you have actually. It is wine time.
Yeah, it is wine time.
Okay, well, so we're talking now adults.
Adults.
And so this bride doesn't want alcohol because, is it her in-laws or her family?
Her in-laws drink too much.
Okay. Oh, I get that.
Would you go to a wedding that's alcohol-free?
There's a fine line here, because I say, well, she's got a right to have it however she wants. And I'm all for progressive ideas with weddings. So if it means that she wants to have it that way, then she's probably more advanced than a lot of us, going in, signing up for the absolute white dress and the same as the Instagram girl that got married last week. So I applaud anyone that's trying to do it their way for them. But weddings are hard, man.
They are.
To get
you
through
need a drink
them,
after all of that.
I feel like I feel like weddings actually rival and kind of, I don't know, jumble emotions from people that are just really pushed heavily down. And even for somebody that deals with my shit, I kind of go and I'm like,
they're intense.
It is. So
it's
I think
such
sometimes
heightened emotion and energy at weddings.
You know, I'm not gonna. I think I'd need a glass of champagne because they're not always easy.
Here's the
especially
thing.
for the poor single bitches.
Yeah.
Up the back on the kids' table.
Oh,
Here's the thing.
absolutely.
Here's the thing. I agree with you whereby it's like, whatever you want to do, it's her day, it's her wedding, you can choose, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Yeah, and you shouldn't feel pressured to not be able to have that choice.
Yep.
But at the same time, I get really pissed off when people are deciding to make a change for themselves. So every single person around them has to be doing the same thing. Like, we've all gone to the office where somebody has been, you know, eating shit their entire lives. All of a sudden is on a 6-week challenge and then stands there reading about Tam. Did you realise, if you're going to be having some of this French onion dip, did you realise that there's actually 7% sugar, which equals a quarter of a teaspoon?
She was having 7 donuts 3 days ago.
But that's the thing. It's like, there is again, it's a fine line. Do what you want, but at the same time, just because you've made a positive decision for your life doesn't mean that everybody else has to be forced to do the same.
Why don't you get the in-laws to pay for the alcohol then?
Yeah,
you know,
maybe.
like, you know, the groom pays for the reception. Was it the bride pays for the reception?
Bride's family, apparently.
So why not just get, if you're
world.
afraid that they drink too much alcohol, well then give them the tab.
My question is, if you're afraid of things like this, it's not going anywhere. You're marrying into it, love. So I'd be like strapping myself in and getting ready because you take him, her, I don't know what situation in this country, it's obviously him, but you take the family.
And if you take the alcohol out of a wedding, then you're taking out all those awesome, like, you know, brawls that happen, you know, like those fights.
Awesome brawls? What kind of weddings have you been going to?
Uncle Timbo wants to feel someone up and Auntie Julie wants to vomit in someone's handbag. I mean, the delights that they're missing out on.
You know, like, isn't there always a fight at a wedding? You know, like isn't that like, you know, they're full of alcohol and they get into it?
I think maybe I probably would agree with you to some extent. I think couples really break. I think it breaks couples.
I will totally agree with that.
I think maybe not fisticuffs, but I think it absolutely. I remember going to one of the best weddings I've ever been to, and the aftermath of people's relationships after such a strong, beautiful day. There was breakups, there was fights, like, because I think it encompassed what I suppose everybody wanted, and it was really authentic. You know, these weddings that you go to that kind of say, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 but you don't really buy it. There's something that, whether it's not true or not, maybe just the event didn't sell it, but this was really about the couple, and they really, I don't know, there was something that everybody walked away from, but it wasn't all positive because everybody was like, why didn't you do that to me?
Well, it's self-reflection.
When are we getting married?
It is self-reflection. It makes you look at
relationships.
Look at
so
relationships
I say grog is needed.
and look at your own relationships.
Also this week, a mother is furious because 2 overseas tourists decided they were going to strip down to their bikini bottoms and sunbake in a park full of children.
This has pissed me off, this story.
Where? Which? So
Darwin
the
Park.
Okay, so it was in Darwin. Okay, right. So it's touristy.
It's hot already.
It's very hot.
You know.
They're obviously from overseas. I feel
I'd like to say like something like Sweden or something like that.
Oh no, seriously.
Somewhere European.
On a deeper level, there are people like Trump, like, you know, people around that do see breasts and particular parts of bodies, especially for females, as sexual things. When, I don't know, I just had a mate that's had a baby, and the first time I saw her breastfeeding, I walked in the room and I started bawling my eyes out because I'm like, this is the most pure, amazing, magical experience. Yet she said there are so many people when she's out in public or if baby starts to cry, she's like, the amount of stares that you get and this awkward, anxious feeling that you get of people staring up, not actually saying you're disgusting, but this kind of attitude around the fact that it's a rude part or a disgusting part of our body that should be covered up.
They weren't breastfeeding.
They weren't breastfeeding.
No,
I get that. But at the same time, it's like, we're the ones as humans that have put this sexualization sticker on a part of our body that isn't essentially meant to be.
I don't know. I'm kind of dancing around the line with this one because I agree. I think breasts are breasts, but I also understand they're sexualized and parents, I suppose, to some degree are allowed to choose the timeline of when they want to go into those types of conversations. But I will say, so I guess I understand where the parents are coming from, but in my own opinion, it's a non-issue, you know, because for children of mine, they will understand what breasts are. They will call their pits like their genitals, their actual parts. There's no secrecy. There's nudity. It's a nude house at my house. Yeah. It already is. And my housemate, you know, she doesn't have a choice, really. I don't take a towel from the bathroom to my room, and I don't really care who's in the house because it's a body.
Make sure we text before we come over.
But I think, well, it's up to you because I don't care. That's my point, and I think that's what the girls are. It's like that's your cross to bear. I'm okay with my boobs, and that's going to be something that you need to work out. But then on the parent side, I go, well, they're like, well, we haven't worked it out yet, you know. So I understand. But
surely those children have seen their mum's boobs. I know my children walk into my bathroom all the time and I'm having a shower and they see everything. So it's like, well, you see your mum's boobs.
I don't think that's the case for everybody though. Like I'm the same as you. Yeah. I grew up in a nude household. Still, if I go home and mum's, you know, she's like starkers, like with her leg up on the counter and she's putting her moisturiser on and we're just chatting away about where we should book for dinner. It's a non-issue in that regard. But I don't think everybody's been brought up in that way. I certainly know my boyfriend's family is so like, there might be, you know, they call them crack watchers. Like if you were to put these down, that tiny minuscule bit in between, it's like there might be crack watchers and bad people that want to look at our naked bodies. And it's serious, but seriously, this is a lot of the way that a lot of people are raised, whereby they're not seeing their parents nude. They're not, as Stacey said, they're not told what a vagina or a penis or breasts are. So then there's almost like this secrecy and this shame around like, well, what is it? Is this a bad thing? Is this a rude thing?
So, girls, we do like to have a little fun to close the show off and play a little game called Never Have I Ever. Have you ever played before?
Oh, yeah. We love fun games.
We love fun games.
Yeah. Have you met
I'm going to give you a paddle. Okay. I have never.
Okay.
Good one.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay.
And
Thank
if you've
you.
got a good little story that goes along with it, we do like to hear them.
Okay.
Look at you and units. All right. So, never have I ever kissed someone of the same sex. Really?
Yeah, like 3 of my best mates.
Yeah, and I'm always feeling left out of this conversation.
Seriously, because I was like, hasn't everybody hooked up with some of their friends?
I've never kissed a girl.
Nah, not me.
Everybody I know
you.
has, and I'm always like, I am the most liberal, open-minded person with this stuff. So I feel like, what did I miss? I'm just very, very straight.
No, but I know what the thing is. It's because the reason that I hooked up with my female friends is because I was pressured by boys to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's why you would have been like, whatever, guys. You actually would have.
Well, I would have done it for myself.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So,
where it was like, if you girls hook up, then we'll hook up. That happened. I fell for that 3 times. Where you're like, okay, and then you're like, your turn. You're like, oh no.
Never have I ever broken something at a friend's house and not told them.
Yes. Oh, did I tell her? I forget
I don't think I have.
the details. But I was house sitting a house. It was just placemats.
How do you ruin placemats?
I put them in the dishwasher.
You have placemats in the dishwasher?
Placemats in the dishwasher.
Oh, I have a real issue.
This is like your washing machine thing.
Yeah, I have a real issue. I put a Zimmerman handbag in the washing machine, and then I put this leather top in the washing machine only this year.
Who's washing a bag?
What are you putting a handbag in the washing machine for?
Placemats in the dishwasher. I don't know. I don't know.
Is it because you're like, I want to get this done quickly now? I see.
Anyway, but they were a wedding present.
Oh.
So,
did you tell them?
No, I replaced them.
So you didn't tell them?
I don't think so. I can't remember the dates. I don't think I did. I would have just done my head in so much that I would have probably told myself I did. That's why I'm not remembering.
You've mentally blocked it out.
Yeah. Never have I ever accidentally sworn on radio or TV.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Get in trouble?
It's
we
weird.
have a dump button.
Yeah.
It saves us.
So, that's like the big red fat magic button that if you accidentally say something wrong,
I
it can
got
be
to a
pressed.
point at the middle of the year where I think I hit exhaustion levels a little bit. So when you talk so much, especially the kind of conversations we have, they're not scripted, they're not really planned. So, you know, you are really talking to a friend.
Yes. And in your everyday life, do you use swear words like in conversation?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it'd be hard to like.
Yeah.
Stop.
So I forget it wasn't even really anything that important or I was that passionate about, but fuck, it just flew straight out of my mouth on air.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should be.
I think it was the exhaustion thing, but I think it was also we were having a laugh about something. So I think
just all barriers went.
Yeah.
We dumped it. No one heard it. We made fun of it online, but yeah, it was a definite wake-up call.
I've done it actually on air though. We interviewed somebody that was in a different time zone, so we had to pre-record it, and then it just slipped through about 5 people's fingers, ours included, that we heard it going as it was being played out live to air, and I was like, I just dropped the F-bomb there, and we were like,
yeah,
just looking at each other like this.
Five people like view it or listen to it before it went live.
Yes.
Yeah, that it just was like slipped right in there under the radar.
Never have I ever been arrested.
Technically, is that?
No, I'm not officially. I've never been officially arrested.
I've had my Mirandas read to me, and I didn't know at the time what Mirandas were.
Are you going to shake them?
Yeah, pretty much. Maracas. Do you know what Mirandas are?
That's maracas too. Morocco's a country.
Thank you. Do you know what Mirandas are?
It's like your rights or something, isn't it?
Like you have the right to remain
silent. Anything you see or do.
Except it's Australian, because it happened. Yeah, there was an issue with my license, which was a registration issue. It didn't end up being mine, but we only just spoke about this like a couple months ago. But I actually was read my rights, the whole works, pulled over, everything. Oh, really? It was settled. It was settled later, but it was a very awful thing to go through. I felt like a proper crim.
Oh yeah, you would.
And when I went back to my girlfriend's house, I was in shock, and she said, "Oh my God, you had your Mirandas read. This is like television." I'm like, "What are Mirandas?" I had no idea what they even were.
But hang on, you didn't even realise that had actually happened. You didn't even click?
Well, no. I mean, I got the spiel from the policeman and knew that there was something seriously wrong. But, so I don't know, that's not technically arrested because I wasn't taken anywhere and I actually didn't do anything wrong, but there was a big fuck
situation.
Yeah.
I've hitched a ride in the back of a divvy van on the way home before. That's really about as close.
Never have ever sent a nude photo or raunchy text to your partner.
Oh, Dex, it kept my long distance relationship alive.
Yeah, she sent vagina pics.
Like full on.
Yeah,
like
I don't really, I'm still perplexed as to, I don't know, they're very funny looking things, genitals.
Yeah, especially when they're up close. It's kind of like a dark cave.
A dark cave.
But it was like,
that's got like
that was the angle where
like
it was
a different like moss, but not green.
But no, there was no
and that's
other.
hers, not mine.
There was no other like context around. So it could have been. It could have been anything. But that's the thing. I'm like,
for anybody watching as well. We don't want your dick pics. We don't want.
No,
them.
I don't mind a dick pic, provided that there's abs or some other view around it. If it's just,
but that's what a dick pic is.
Just
no,
cock.
that's
I don't
a
want to
nudie.
just see that.
A dick pic is just the dick.
No, dick and just a little bit of ab. Two abs.
That's not a dick pic. A dick pic is zoom in, time to shine.
Well, I don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want it.
No, I don't.
We do not want it.
Cheers, lady. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. When can people listen to you on KISS?
7 till 9 weeknights. Sunday nights we've also got a best of show.
Yep.
And our podcast you can find at thethinkergirls.com.au.
Thanks, ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Friday.